All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. Kind of a bit of a weak signal for some reason. Anyways, guys, let's take a look at the let's dive into the stories that we are going to cover today. Yeah, here we go. Boom. Yeah, I'm going to get better with all these transitions. Don't worry. It's just new format. Anyways, let's dive into it, guys. Here's what we're going to cover. We've got in the Hopium. That's right. We've got some solid memes. We've got a solid chart that we are going to take a look at that should brighten everybody's day. Right now, we're pumping anyways, so that makes everybody happy. Yeah, and supposedly the government shutdowns fueled Bitcoin's price surge. Could have fooled me. Could have fooled me. Yeah, we're going to take a look at the government loving Bitcoin. Of course, we all know this. Government loves Bitcoin, right? They love Bitcoin. We're going to see what I mean by that. No surprise here. KYC failure. Who would have thought that know your customer laws aren't going to fail, right? It's no surprise. And if you've been following this show, this channel, you know that KYC is incredibly ineffective. Pretty much only it's only been responsible for solving approximately 0.05% of illicit crime. So doesn't actually work. Anyways, yeah, we're going to take a look at a story from a fellow Bitcoiner. Bitcoin is cool, right? He kind of ran into some strange behavior on Telegram. We're going to take a look at what happened there, and a $6.8 billion fraud exposed. You're not going to want to miss this one. Guys, you know the deal. We're going to show some love to the Pleb Underground sponsor before we dive into it. Here we go.
Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium.
All right, guys, let's dive right into it. The Hopium, let's do it. You know what? We're going to start off with some fun. This is the meme from Carl Menger, which I think totally, or Menger, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but this meme just typifies what it is to be a Bitcoin hodler. Here we go. Yeah, that definitely that is totally being a Bitcoin hodler in a nutshell. There have been so many FUD based memes that have come out. You gotta love it, right? You absolutely gotta love it. Great job, Carl. Great job on that one. That definitely gave me some faith yesterday when we were quote unquote dead at 109, right? We were dead at 109K. Anyways, moving on from that, let's go take a look at yeah, this little story here, right? Bloomberg says that the US government shutdown pushed investors to Bitcoin as a safe haven asset. In all fairness, the article said that Bitcoin's price rise coincided with it. Take that at face value. However, if that was really the case, wouldn't we have been at a new all-time high? Right? Like, wouldn't we have continued, right? If that was the case, if people really were, and I'm not saying that nobody is buying Bitcoin in terms of a hedge, right, against inflation and against poor government policy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's probably not as big as we think, because then we probably would have seen not only just a sustained move into Bitcoin at higher price levels, but it would have held it, right? And kind of didn't, right? We went up to the 126K, we pulled back. I'm not saying the bull market's over or anything like that. I just think that I just think that there isn't that much strength in that particular piece of news as people are claiming that there is. Anyways, let's go take a look at the next. All right, here we go. From Wicked. We always love the charts from Wicked, right? Calling the Bitcoin top while we're still within striking distance of it. Bold move. Let's see how this plays out. So look, if you don't understand what it is that you're looking at, okay, all the way on the right hand side, okay, where you see these little peaks and valleys, right? Essentially, TLDR, we're gonna do it according to this chart. We're gonna do another giant peak. Okay, that's what we're setting up for. Massive peak. Okay, that makes me happy. See what happens. Yeah. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the quote unquote 4-year cycle to either be dead or to play out. So if we get our nice little spike, maybe it plays out. Anyways, yeah, I'm still bullish. I'm happy about this. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. We're thrilled. Let's keep going here, guys. Paper Bitcoin summer, right? We didn't have any paper Bitcoin summer for a couple of days. I mean, there's stuff that's happening, but it just not really newsworthy. So here, let's dive into it, right? In case you missed it, BlackRock launches their Bitcoin ETP, which is equivalent to an exchange-traded fund. It's really no different in the UK today. So more paper Bitcoin. Yay. All right, Vanguard continues to cope that they don't hold Bitcoin, but they keep buying companies that hold Bitcoin. So, Vanguard, watching you do mental gymnastics and pretend that you hate that you're not using Bitcoin, that you're not exposing your customers to Bitcoin. Yeah, I enjoy watching these mental gymnastics. So, Vanguard Group, Total International Stock Index, VTIAX, has bought $21.5 million worth of Bitcoin treasury company Metaplanet in Q3 of 2025. Yet they won't offer BTC to their clients. That's right. That is exactly right. The absolute ridiculousness. It's just mental gymnastics, right? And you could even call it Bitcoin derangement syndrome. That's what I would call it. It's Bitcoin derangement syndrome for sure. Okay, moving on here. As if anybody cares anymore how much more Bitcoin Strategy has. Anybody care? Apparently I do, so here we go. Strategy buys an additional 168 Bitcoin and now holds a total of 640,418 Bitcoin. Ranked number 1. That's a surprise. Their average price keeps going up too, but of course that doesn't matter, right? That doesn't make a difference. So now they're at the point of, I believe their cost basis for all of this is $74,000 per coin. Still pretty good, Still pretty good. It's not bad. Hey, I appreciate that, only Bitcoin. I'm even looking forward to my own distraction. I get distracted doing this. Okay. Anyways, moving on from paper Bitcoin summer, we are going to dive into the KYC failure, right? Let's go take a look at this. I mean, if you're on Twitter and you haven't seen this, yeah. Now, AI generated passport passed the KYC check. Oh my gosh, we're surprised. I'm shocked. A real world failure of compliance systems. This was always going to happen. This has always been KYC, all of this stuff. None of this is foolproof. None of this is 100% 100% guaranteed that they can stop any forms of money laundering, fraud, all of this stuff. At the end of the day, what it is the illusion of security. We say this all the time. It's the illusion of privacy, the illusion of security. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. All KYC is handing over data. That's all it is. And then the extrapolation from that is that these institutions create checklists, and criminals can then simply just fulfill the requirements of the checklists in order to gain access to the walled gardens, right? The walled gardens, I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the banking system, right? It's different using banking rails. this is old as time. Okay. The biggest facilitators of all of this crap is the banking system and the government. The government can't be trusted to, I'm talking about any governments, can't even be trusted to find their way out of a paper bag, right? And you think that you think you're gonna trust them with your data? Not a chance. Now, look, I've brought this up several times. People, I know it's gonna sound crazy, but 5-6 years ago, Bitcoiners actually cared about KYC laws, AML laws. Bitcoiners were, for a good portion of it, actually concerned about government overreach and all of this monitoring. So there was a guy that was kind of hanging around the Bitcoin space who did probably the most extensive work on KYC AML. I've brought him up 1,000 times. His name is Dr. Ron Paul, and I've obviously put the links in the show notes, guys. So here you go. This is your KYC AML scorecard. Now, keep in mind, these numbers are from 2021. Well, according to this, right? 2018, 2020, and 2021. But I'm pretty sure that today the numbers have slightly changed. But the point is, okay, this is what the crime, this is what the impact is, right? All of these rules, all of these laws, right? Here you go. This is how much crime they've stopped. 0.05%, right? In the end, who's paying all of the penalties? The banks. Not that I care. Not that I care about the banks paying the fees. But it's just a point of, it's not the criminals, right? The criminals aren't the ones paying the fees. It's the freaking banks, the people with the rails, like the people that are actually part of doing the scams, right? The people that are actually part of this, they're just getting away with it. That's all there is to it. Hey, Yellow, what's happening? Yeah, that's right, ACP. I know, right? They're totally surprised this shit don't work. It's so funny. It's so comical. But yeah, and of course, it does harm millions of ordinary people every single day. We'd like to imagine that only the worst people that are doing the worst financial activities are the ones paying the price, right? Are the ones that are getting penalized. But that's not the case. Okay, the case is that oftentimes it's just regular people, mom and pops. I've given this example several times. Right, I was debanked when I was living in Canada. I got debanked by my bank because my employer didn't pay the company that was issuing our checks. Okay, they didn't give them any. They didn't give them the money that they were supposed to give them. As a result, the last, I think it was my last 3 paychecks. I was like 19 years old at the time, 20 years old. All of those paychecks bounced. And all of a sudden, there I was, owing the bank money, but they also froze my account. Like, why wasn't my employer penalized, right? But instead, it's just me. And of course, you can make the argument, well, Phil, you're the one that deposited those checks, right? Who else are they going to go after? That's the point, though. The process doesn't fucking work, right? Like, I was the victim of the crime. And there I was being victimized by the bank. Like, it's okay, we're done. Okay, moving on. Let's keep going. All right, so here's the story from Bitcoin is Cool. Shout out to Bitcoin is Cool. This is the his almost hacked scenario. Tagged me in this yesterday, and I just wanted to go over this, guys, because look, a lot of us are using different apps, right? Signal, Telegram, Twitter, BitChat, but BitChat, I don't think you're really going to get hacked on. But mostly Telegram and Signal. Yeah, I know, right, ACP? Like, you're shocked? I was surprised. But in all fairness, when it happened, it really did dawn on me, right? I'm like, holy crap, this is real. They actually did freeze everything and made it so that I could not access my bank account anymore. So, and at the time, I didn't have a second bank account either, right? Like, I'm very OCD, and I was like, all right, I just want to have this one thing. I'm gonna have all my services there, and that way I can control this to the best of my ability. That was wrong. That I should have had more redundancy. Anyways, yeah, that was just a bad scenario. Okay, so look, a lot of scams on Telegram, WhatsApp, Telegram, Signal, all of this stuff. And here's a story from Bitcoin is Cool that I think we should take a look at. So here we go. Here's his story. He says that, and this was yesterday, I almost lost my Telegram account. The scam is a channel will tell you it's closing and to join a new one to replace it. There's a verification step like a CAPTCHA, and they tell you they're going to send you a message with a login code. But what actually happens is this. And here's a little screenshot of what's actually going on, right? It looks totally legit. Hey, we're glad you're still with us. Get a link to the new code. Get access below. Look, we sent you a code in Telegram. Okay. So a login to your account through a new device that shows up. It's actually their device. Telegram sends out a code to log in and confirm a new device. So he's saying my sleepy brain scans the number, not the content. I typed it in, hit send, wrecked. And I gotta say, I remember in I think it was 2018 or 2019, I totally fell for something like this. I just put in my private key. I put my private key of my wallet in, like, essentially I was trying to get more tokens, and it was like, hey, just put in your public key. So I go and I put in my public key and I'm like, hey, nothing happened. And then I do it again and it shows an error and it goes, please provide your private key. And it was like 2 a.m, whatever excuse I'm going to use. I didn't even think. And I was like, yep, here I go. And the next day I realized the horrible mistake that I had made and my entire wallet was cleaned out. Lucky for me, I was still a shitcoiner back then and I was still not realizing what I was doing. And they didn't get away with that much, but still taught me a very important lesson about not doing things half asleep and genuinely paying attention. Anyways, so going on with the story, right? He gets that a notification saying that they detected an attempt to log into the account. Nobody gained access to your chats because the login was not completed. Obviously, this Bitcoin is cool is 100% stressing at this point, like what has happened and how do I get out of this? So yeah, here's his summary, that our brains are wired to blindly copy paste codes from one position to the next. This can be deadly. Sometimes the scammer will pose as Microsoft or Google or bank or Coinbase. Do not give away any copy and paste codes. Always read the full message and verify the content. Absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, I thought I would not fall for this. And again, I also believed I wouldn't fall for this. And especially knowing what I knew about scams, I never thought I would fall for this stuff. And yet, absolutely did. But it almost happened. That's why cold storage is so important. If you can, please do another educational segment. No problem. Bitcoin is cool. So look, especially on Telegram, guys, I make sure that at the very least, right, make sure that your number is private, right? Your phone number in Telegram, like it should be hidden. I would also go through your security settings and you may want to restrict everything to just your contacts. And you may even want to go so far as to restrict even that, right? That your contacts can't even see your information. There's nothing wrong with that. And to this point, I will say this, okay? If you think for a second that somebody isn't sitting in Telegram, like possibly in one of your chat groups, that is just sitting there lurking and watching and essentially learning about what you're doing or what other people are doing in your chat group, you're being naive. Okay. I could tell you in the last bull run, I had a guy that was, well, I don't know if it's a guy, but this account that impersonated somebody that was in one of my chat groups. And this guy had been in the group for like 3 years. Right. So, and it's somebody that I spoke to all the time. And all of a sudden, sends me a DM and, starts telling me, like first, it's just, hey, what's up? How's it going? All that good stuff. And then all of a sudden, right. All of a sudden he's like, man, I'm in a bad way, brother. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And he's like, I've lost some big funds on my trading. I'm sorry. But you're definitely not coming to me with your trading woes. So I already knew at that point it's a complete scam. However, right, I'm still paying attention, and I said to him, I'm like, okay, well, how how can I help you? He's like, oh, well, if you could just if you could give me like $2,000 or $3,000 worth of Bitcoin, right, I can get you that back in just a few hours. And I'm looking at this account, and like this, keep in mind, this account has never spoken to me about this. Ever. What, like I don't trade. So why would you talk to me about trading? And this guy doesn't trade. He's a hodler. Why is he talking to me about this? So obviously this is fake. Anyways, I reached out to the actual account because I followed this account on Twitter as well. So I reached out to him on Twitter and obviously he let me know that it wasn't him.
Now, this person came and signed back into Telegram, and as soon as they did that, the fake account disappeared out of the group and obviously changed their name to some other scam account. Guys, it's, I've said this before. It takes a split second to make a horrible mistake. Okay. And then the problem is that you can't undo it. So really what you got to do, take the extra minute, right? The extra minute could save you. It could save you your future. It could save you thousands of dollars. It could save you all kinds of headaches. Just take the extra time. Okay. Something tells you that a login failed. Well, you know what? Go and go and actually log into your own app. Like, go to check to see if you have any real notifications. Oftentimes, right? Oftentimes, it's not real. Oftentimes, if you just reread the message a few times, right? 15, 20 seconds, it's done. Right? It's done. And you realize it's a scam. I don't need to do anything. Anyways, okay. Sorry, guys. I took that one a little too far. You always got to throw in the anecdotal, the anecdotal stories. Okay, next, moving on, we are going to, all right. So the $6.8 billion fraud. Let's dive into this one. Let's dive into this one here, guys. UK seeks to pay back Chinese investors swindled in US $6.8 billion Bitcoin fraud. That's a bad one. So UK prosecutors are looking to confiscate Bitcoin worth about $6.8 billion tied to a massive fraud in China as they plan a victim compensation plan to repay duped investors. Oh, look at that. The government doesn't intend to keep the Bitcoin. That's nice of them, right? I like a benevolent dictator, right? I've always said this, guys. I appreciate tyranny light, and I appreciate socialism light. I just don't want them to make it too terrible, right? Just don't make it too terrible. I'm obviously kidding. This tyranny and socialism is garbage. The UK police unearthed 61,000 Bitcoin in 2018 during a money laundering investigation against two Chinese women linked to the fraud that impacted around 128,000 investors. The haul comes after two Chinese women were convicted for their part in laundering the stolen currency. Yadi Zhang, also known as Zemin Qian, pleaded guilty to money laundering linked charges last month, while her accomplice was found guilty of fraud by a jury last year. This is the fun part. Another approximately $89 million was found after Zhang informed the police last month that she kept passwords for two crypto wallets in a purpose-made concealed pocket within a pair of jogging bottoms, which she was wearing at the time of the arrest. So this lady's carrying around the password, stuffed in her crotch for $68 million. That's great. Just walking around. $68 million. Anyways, good times. That's good times. But it's nice to see the benevolent dictators claiming that they are going to give money back to the victims. Yeah, not bad. All right, we got to applaud. We got to applaud the government when they attempt to do the right thing. Speaking of the government, let's dive into it because we all know, guys, the government loves Bitcoin. The government loves Bitcoin. So, why am I saying that? Right? Why am I saying that the government loves Bitcoin? Fed Governor Michael Barr says stablecoins could be backed by Bitcoin under the recently passed Genius Act. That's right. That is exactly right. Now, why do I think that this is funny? And it's because of this. Here's this. It's a post from Mark Goodwin, right? Always shout out to Mark. Makes everybody upset with his truth. It's kind of funny. So yeah, he's saying LMFAO, okay. And what is he saying that to? Well, he's talking about this is a specific letter written by Michael Barr, which I have posted in the show notes if you guys want to go take a look at that PDF, right? And the key over here is an issuer could argue that Bitcoin repo could qualify as an eligible reserve asset for stablecoins. So this is something that I have been saying for a very, very long time. Okay. It's very simple. the U.S. economy, and it's not just the U.S. economy, but we're using the U.S. economy as an example. As we know, it's entirely debt-based. If all of the money were to be paid back, that the government, that the U.S. owes, there would be not a single penny in circulation. Our entire system exists due to debt. Now, the debt is issued by a pristine monetary anchor, which at the time, right, once upon a time was gold, right? Then it becomes the government, right? It's backed by the full faith of the government. But guess what? Nobody cares, right? Nobody trusts the government anymore, really. There's very few people trusting the government. So what happens next? Well, we need something. We need a pristine monetary anchor. We need something to point to allow us to continue kicking the can down the road, to allow us to continue to print into oblivion and enter Bitcoin, right? So now they've got all this confiscated Bitcoin. Government's going to hold it, right? They're going to confiscate more of it. That's for sure, right? That's revenue. That's budget neutral, right? Isn't that budget neutral stacking? You just take it away from people. But guess what? The more they take away from people, the stronger their strategic Bitcoin reserve becomes, and essentially the more trust you can have in the government, and more specifically, right? They're borrowing from the bank of Bitcoin. They're borrowing from the credit bank of Bitcoin. Because they're holding all this Bitcoin, it's like, hey, we can issue these stable coins. We've got the best damn asset in the world to back it. Now, granted, I love Bitcoin. So, hey, the government wants to hang themselves with that rope, by all means, do it. But make no mistake. Make no mistake. This is the bed of Procrustes analogy, right? The government is desperately trying to shoehorn Bitcoin into their little box. And they think that they're going to be able to continue to kick the can down the road infinitely with stablecoins. I don't agree. I don't think they're going to be able to do it forever. I think people are going to figure it out. It's not going to take long, because as we've learned in Bitcoin, Bitcoin is the meter stick. It doesn't move. There's nothing that you can do that is going to change that. The government can't issue more of it. All that can happen is that they can dance around it and do what they're doing with the money printing. So good luck to them, but make no mistake. Yeah, that's right, ACP. It's the bed of Procrustes, man. It's a great book. But yeah, anyways, it's just absolutely, it's par for the course, and they are going to continue to do this. The government loves Bitcoin because they're going to be able to pump out more stable coins. It's that simple. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for us for today. I'm sorry if the connection seemed a little slow or creepy. Yeah, I don't know why. In StreamYard, I'm showing that the connection is unstable. So I do apologize for that, guys. Hopefully tomorrow it's a little bit better. Yeah, that's going to do it for us for today. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'm going to catch you all tomorrow. Take it easy. Peace.